What's up, guys? Spin Firearms here, and today we're going to talk about, does the price of your carry firearm matter? And I just want to start by saying this. I like Taurus firearms. I have 4 Taurus firearms. I've actually had a good experience with them, not a lot of issues. The only issue was the Taurus GX4 when I first got it. It was one of 2,000, and it had striker issues. It was a delayed striker, so you'd pull the trigger, 10 seconds later, it would go off. Pull it again, 20 seconds later, it would go off. It was really bad, could be really dangerous. Other than that, since I got it back, 0 issues. The only issues was with my TX22, which is 22 long rifle, so it's bound to have issues at some point. But they're not terrible. They're actually very minimal. Now, when it comes to this, there's a couple things. When you get a Taurus, they say there's a break-in period. And what makes me nervous is any firearm with a break-in period, you're basically saying there's a period where your firearm is going to mess up, or we're giving it because we're telling you it has a break-in period, it has an excuse to have a malfunction. In my opinion, that's wrong. You don't hear Glock saying, oh, give it a break-in period. And that just comes with quality control. They're basically saying, oh, if you start having malfunctions, don't send it in right away. Don't send it, that type of thing. They sent this back to me within 3 weeks and never had a single issue. But what I will say, when I started realizing about budget firearms and why you probably shouldn't carry them unless they're well proven, which we'll get to in a second, is because I noticed that to fix that problem, they only tested 15 rounds to this firearm. Could you imagine that? You have a potential issue that could take down your company, that could really cause some serious injuries to people that lack gun safety and stuff, but you only put 15 rounds through it. And I get why that is. For every round that is shot, that is less money they make on those firearms, and the profit margin cannot be that big. Otherwise, they'd be doing massive shortcuts. That's with anything in life. If you buy a cheap car that has been old, you're not going to get as much of it. Now, there's some cases you might have something like a Honda and it just pumps and pumps and pumps, but those are proven. I don't think Taurus is proven yet because their past track record has said you cannot trust us. That's what their past said. In the last 5 years, I consider them a brand new company since the G series came out, but they are nowhere near like a Glock. You will not be told, okay, you need a test period with your Glock. If you have 5 malfunctions within the first 200 rounds or so, break-in period. No, that's wrong in my opinion. Some people don't train as much as others. That's why I say training is the number one thing. But where that makes me nervous with this is if you shoot as much as I do, 500, 600 rounds per weekend, your round count is going to really jump up there. Now, can the Taurus GX4 and the G3C really handle a heavy round count? Like, if I were to put 500 rounds a week through these things, how many weeks would they last? No one's done that yet. I know some people have put 1,000 through in one day, and filmed it and all that. But have we really put 10, 20, 30,000 rounds and seen what happens with these firearms? What parts start to wear out? Because when you're cutting the price of a firearm in half of what, think about the Taurus G3C and 26. They're very similar in size, everything like that. When you're going against these other companies and making the price so low, something has to give, and that's often in the quality. That's why you'll hear 7 people say they have a great experience with the Taurus, but for every 7 there's 3 that said I have a terrible time, failures to feed, failures to extract. And here's the thing, we don't know if that's because of the heavier round count that issues are starting to happen. There's people I know with SIG P365s have 60,000 rounds through with 0 issues. I know someone with a Glock 19. I'm not sure what gen it is, but I know he's put like 70,000 rounds through it. I know he has swapped out a couple parts, but 70,000 rounds. I'm actually thinking about starting testing with these firearms. I think I should do that. I have 2 G3Cs. One of them's at 3,000 rounds, 0 issues. I'd like to start testing these and seeing how many rounds we can put through them and see if they hold up, because I think that's a big thing for everyday carry. If you're really training with your everyday carry firearm and it's a Taurus G3C and you're hitting 9,000, 10,000 rounds, over the course of 20 weeks or so, or, whatever, and then you have a self-defense encounter, you don't know what, when that firearm is going to give. You could say that with anything, but the fact that Glocks have been around for so long, the design has stayed the same, I think that says a lot about its reliability. In the comments, whenever I talk about my Glock 26, the number one complaint is not getting your pinky on it. Where my number one complaint about a firearm would be if it's not reliable. Now, I think that's a good thing to complain about because nobody's saying that it's unreliable. In fact, so many people come underneath the video, I got 14,000 rounds and counting. I got 20,000 rounds and counting through my Glock 26, 0 issues. So in my opinion, yes, I think the price of your everyday carry should matter because you're putting a price on your life. And then there's the argument also that okay, it's a cheaper firearm, so if I'm in a self-defense encounter, it's cheaper that they take it away. I don't think of it like that. I know that my firearm is going to be gone anyways, but the point is that I'm still here. Whatever I lose, I can get back. I'm not going to risk my life on a $250 firearm because if I get it taken away, because I defend myself legally and they got to do it, all that stuff, I wouldn't even want that firearm back. It's not about the money at that point. It's about the fact that I survived, my kids survived, my wife survived, my family survived. It's not about the fact that I lost the firearm. I could, you can get any of that stuff back and so I don't think that's a good reasoning, which I've seen it a lot. You'd be surprised. I don't think that's a good reasoning to say, yeah, I should carry a cheaper firearm because if I'm in a self-defense encounter, God forbid, it gets taken from me. I don't think like that. I think I'm going to go home and I'm going to make it home at night, and I want the best tool possible to get me home. And for me, that's my Glock 26. I'll give Taurus another 5 to 10 years or put a lot of testing through my G3C. Then we'll see how reliable these things really get. I'm really rooting for Taurus, though, because I think they're doing a great job. Thanks for watching.